Today on the Denver Sports Podcast, the world of sports and designs connects here in the studio. We're talking a little bit about City Connects, going through our favorites and least favorite City Connects in Denver sports and talking all things jerseys and beyond next on the Denver Sports Podcast. What is up, everyone? Happy Tuesday, live from the Toyota Lounge. It's the Denver Sports Podcast, and we have a great show with some great topics lined up today as we're talking all things Denver sports, jerseys, sports designs, the good, the bad, the ugly, quite literally the ugly, all of that and more.
Those are the bad ones.
Those are the bad ones. Those are the bad ones. D-Line joining me on the show today. D-Line, you have a history of intersecting sports and design. That is kind of your job. That's everything that you encapsulate.
You can remove the word kinda from that.
Yeah.
And that's just what I am.
You.
I am a designer that is interested in sports. This is a very rare thing in the world of design. If you know designers, they don't like sports.
Although I think it's becoming more of a thing. People are realizing that you can make really badass art in sports-related context, and it can sell really well.
Oh, I mean, it's always existed, but just in general, I'll just briefly give my backstory here for anyone who doesn't know. But I mean, I'm just like a designer. I'm like a brand designer, and I just always liked sports a lot. And it would be like I had to be like closeted about being a sports fan at all of these places that I would work.
It's a controversial thing, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was, because you would come in, you'd be like, the designers are like sports ball. Like those are those people.
Yeah.
They're all
sports.
they're the guy. They're like thick glasses and they like indie rock and they don't like anything that's like, because it's the jocks and the art guys. And they don't, in high school, they don't really like mix that often. So anyway, all my life, all my professional life, I should say, I'd come in, I'd be like, oh my God, did you see that Broncos win? And like everyone would just look at me like I was an idiot.
Yeah.
So I grew up just loving the aesthetic of sports. Like I just love the jerseys, I love baseball cards, I love the history, I love the whole way sports are spoken about and the story is told through the aesthetic lens, because it's just like there's something so like the way that you have to design for sports is you have to appeal obviously to the widest audience.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be very populist in the way that you're going about things. You have to use like very rudimentary ideas of like very basic colors, very basic, contrast. So it pops, it works on camera, all of this stuff. So, and to me, it's just, I always really, it also came from a place of like longing where I just would like covet, getting like a button-up jersey, or like the cool pair of Nike. Like now that I'm older and I have money, like I buy these Nikes and they look ridiculous on me. I'm far too old to wear them, but I don't care. Like my whole life, I just like wanted them so badly. And so now I just like buy them. And so for me, it was like very easy. It's just like a very natural thing. Like I just sort of understand inherently how art plays into sport and like what people are drawn to, what it means to people, and how it connects to the history not only of the sport but just sort of as us as people.
Well, and there's also so many examples over the years of how bad design, bad art in sports can have such a negative impact on how the fans engage with the team, especially with the rise of social media, right? Like, it's so visible. And so we've seen good examples. We've seen bad examples. I don't know if you saw who was playing last night. Was it the Texans that were playing against the Cowboys? Yeah. And the Texans, like, social media account, after they beat the Cowboys, posted an L, and they designed it to look like the pieces of metal that were falling down. So it's like stuff like that. Like, you could make that look really bad, and it wouldn't be as engaging as it would be if you have good designers who can somehow find a way to make that look creative. That's a really recent example, but I just think it shows that, like, there are people who can do this and they do it really well. I also don't know if you saw this. CU posted like a video, or someone within the athletics department at CU posted a video of like their creative team in the kind of underground portions of their stadium, everyone working. And it just showed there's probably like 15 or 20 people all locked into a computer, photographers going in.
We got to get that CU money, man.
It's insane.
It's just, it's like 15 people working
literally.
On it.
And their tweet said, like, this isn't even everyone, because there are obviously people out on the field, but it shows how much there's an investment in the design and the creative side of it. I saw it with the Dodgers when they came into town with Shohei Ohtani, and Shohei Ohtani brought just an entire realm of photographers, designers.
Sure.
Like, it packed the Coors Field press box. Only time out of the year the press box was actually full. So it just shows that there's a value on that, and now teams are starting to recognize that, and leagues are starting to recognize that, and so we're starting to see designs going into jerseys. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's dive in. The Nuggets just unveiled their new City Connect jersey, which is what brought to mind this topic for me on the show. The Nuggets unveiling their new 2024-25 City Connect jersey. Was that the Nuggets calling you?
No, you know what the worst part about that was? Is that was me setting off my own tile. I sat on my own keys and made my own phone ring.
Nice. There you go.
Let me just like explain a little bit about like what you're talking about, like why the design and everything is actually important in this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it can be looked at as very trite. It can be looked at as something that is very superfluous to the core of what it is. If you're really a hardcore sports fan and you don't care about any of this stuff, some part of it you do, and the reason you do is because branding in general, like this is so I as a branding professional,
sure.
When I approached BSN at the time, and when I would go to all of these other businesses, there are just certain businesses and services that transcend mere capitalism and just the transfer of money. Like, there are certain things like sports that are put in a different part of a person's brain, because when you look at a team, it's not, and it's your team. It's not they, it's us.
Yeah.
And when you are absorbing not only the way that they play every Sunday, let's say, to whether or not it's going to allow yourself to puff up your chest and walk around like you yourself accomplished something, like you absorb it into your own identity. Right?
Yeah.
So like your team is very closely associated with your personal view of yourself, your identity, the way that you look at the world, the way the world looks at you. And there's there's an immediate judgment that happens, good, bad. Like if you look at teams that suck and look bad, this was the Nuggets my entire life. Like this is when the Nuggets used to wear the rainbow jerseys, and everybody loves them now because they're classic.
They're classic.
But the Nuggets sucked when they wore those, and they looked like to wear that was like to walk around with a very loud and bright clown outfit. Like you just were just announcing to the world that you were an idiot. Like you liked the dumbest team that was going nowhere, and you're big and bright. And so, all that to say, like this is why people get so wrapped up in this stuff. It's like. It's not just. It's not like a blue jersey. It comes, it goes. It's like this is us. This is me. This is the city of Denver. This is all this stuff that like means something to people. So people get wrapped up in it because they're looking at themselves through these jerseys.
Well, can I use an example? I grew up in Seattle, so I spent a lot of time in my youth watching Seahawks games. When the Seahawks became good, everyone enjoyed the ugliest uniform, I believe, in the history of the NFL. Those bright lime green neon.
Tough, yeah.
Those are awful. However, the Seahawks were good,
Yeah.
you know, during that era, and people loved them, and it became this calling card. If the Seahawks had sucked back then, it would have been a totally different situation. The Broncos, you know, with their throwback uniforms, the bright orange, like that's a very bold choice, bold color choice. However, the Broncos are giving us reason to cheer this year. We're feeling good about them, so you feel good about that kind of stuff. The Nuggets, I think, are in the same boat where you've got that like bright, you know, the white with the rainbow colors. If you suck, yeah, people have a different feeling about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, value gets assigned to these. A lot of value gets assigned to this after the fact. The Nuggets, what I like to affectionately refer to as the COVID jerseys, the COVID test jerseys, that they won the championship in, and now they're part of canon, and now everybody loves them after the fact. But when they first came out, we were like, why does it have a gradient bars on the side and say Denver at the top? These are terrible design decisions, but. And this is why I was like, I'm like, do not wear these in important games. And they won the championship in them. So now they're minted. We have them forever. This is why you have to be careful.
They go down in history as,
they're yes. And now
bad design decisions.
Well, but they also look better now because they have the, you know, they're coated in success.
Well, and it's like you're positively associating with that too, because you see your favorite player, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, you know, when they were playing in that championship or playing in the playoffs and they're wearing these jerseys. It could be the ugliest jersey in the world. I will to this day say the ugliest jersey I've ever seen was the San Diego Padres City Connect jersey. Those are just awful jerseys.
Yeah.
However, if you love the San Diego Padres and they're like they're in there and you know wearing those jerseys and they're winning and they're going to the playoff, like fine, I guess you connect positively with that.
They like own that aesthetic. That's them.
What are your thoughts though on this new Nuggets City Connect? Do you like or dislike?
So I have not done a breakdown of this yet.
Okay,
so we can do
That's
it here.
That's what TDSP's for.
That is why we have TDSP. So all right, look. So. I did a little bit of a breakdown. I realized after I said that.
It's okay. You can remind us.
So this is kind of weird. So these are two different jersey mock-ups here. The Jamal Murray one on the left has the number to the right, and the one Peyton Watson is wearing the 8 is in the middle.
God, I didn't even realize that.
Well, you're not a designer.
You're
a mere mortal. You're not bothered by these types of things like I am. You live a much healthier, happier life. The Peyton Watson one is the one because he's actually wearing it. It exists. It's got the Ibotta branding on it. So here's what I'll tell you what I like about these jerseys, what I don't like about these jerseys. Just if you're looking for a judgment here, like
Absolutely.
if I'm a snap judgment, I say they're fine.
Fine. All right. Out of 10.
I think they are above average. I think they're a 6.
Okay.
I fall into the camp that everybody else did. I mean, perhaps I started this camp by screaming about it last year. I hate using 5280 so heavily in all of our gear. There's been, so like for years, I've been screaming, like, I want all of the teams in Denver to adopt the same-ish color scheme.
Mm-hmm. Like Seattle, for example.
Like Seattle,
very similar color
Pittsburgh.
Schemes. Pittsburgh, yep.
Like if you're like a diehard Denver fan and you wear a Broncos bomber jacket with an Avalanche hat and a Rockies jersey, you look homeless. You look terrible. Like none of that stuff goes together even a little bit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I wanted them all to adopt royal blue. I want royal blue to be the official Denver color.
I like it. Yeah.
It comes from the flag. You can see it in the sky.
It's also close to purple for the Rockies. Like it's not so far off where you're just changing.
I'm fine with the
everything.
Rockies doing their own thing. They can they got to earn their dude. Like
the ugly stepchild.
Right, and you can have purple. You can have blue mountains majesty. The mountains are actually blue. Yeah. They're not purple. But what I like, what my anger is, instead of everybody adopting royal blue, what everyone has adopted is 5280. The Broncos have it. The Nuggets, like it's everywhere. 5280. That's 5280. I like the idea of 5280. It is a unique signifier of the city of Denver. We are exactly 5,280 feet. We are a mile high, but I want everyone to embrace the mile high city, not 5280. 5280 to me is very stupid. 5280 is like what you have when you own like a siding company, like a Windows 5280 Windows, 5280 janitor company, stuff like that. It's like it's not cool like they want it to be cool, and So I don't like that. I don't like 5280 being the big thing, especially when it's a number set over a number set.
I was going to say, so that's my biggest issue with it too. I'm with you on this. I don't like having too many numbers on a jersey. And maybe this is the broadcaster in me where I pay a lot of attention to the numbers because I'm looking at the back of guys' jerseys.
5280 has been ejected.
Yeah. And it's so many numbers on a player's jersey that there's just too much going on. Also, it takes a while. Like, I've talked to sports fans outside of the city of Denver who don't actually know what that means.
No, you mean like people from, I don't know, Serbia who are on the metric system?
And like, what is 5280? It just doesn't. I don't know if it resonates as deeply with other,
of course,
non-Denver markets.
Of course it doesn't. No, it doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense. Yeah. Anyway, but so they're really trying to sell this in. So like, that's the annoying part, is that we here in Denver, this is just examples of designers in other cities making decisions like, oh, I'm sure they'll like this. This is great. They love 5280. They can't get enough. And then it's like, we don't actually, whatever. At the end of the day, here's what I like about the jersey.
Okay.
Here's what I like, if you want to bring it back up. Here. What I like about the jersey is that I think that it was a very calculated and interesting take on the rainbow.
Yeah.
To make it a topographical map with using rainbow tones as opposed to the old school rainbow, which honestly doesn't make any sense. We just did it so often that now we own it. But this is like an interesting take on the rainbow, getting the rainbow colors in a context that actually makes sense with the surroundings. It's got mountain shapes, obviously. There's a very clear mountain shape in the 5280 along the side.
It's also really clean. It's a very simple, it's not doing too much.
You've never heard my rant on the word clean.
Okay, yeah,
you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
I hate when people describe something as clean. Not you just now, because it actually does kind of apply.
Yeah, it's white.
People have what is that? Conflated the idea of I like this with it being clean. Like, people will be like, oh, damn, that's clean. And it's not clean. Clean means that it's sparse, it's well put together, there's not a lot going on. Your eye is able to travel through it really easily. That's what clean it means in the context of actual design. But that word's been co-opted, and people use it to mean I like it.
It's a saturated word, yes.
It doesn't mean anything. So for me, I'm like, whatever. Anyway, this is clean. This is a clean design in that it's white and your eyes can travel through it pretty easily. And I do think, like, having seen Peyton Watson don it during the promo shoots, I think this is like a jersey that's going to look much better on the street than it does on the court. Like, I think it's going to actually look pretty cool for the right subsect to be able to wear this. Like, there is, there's new thinking here. It's obviously got every color in the rainbow, not coincidentally, but like, you're able to sort of pair it with whatever you want to wear it with. So I think it's going to look cool out and about. I think it's going to look pretty stupid on the court. I think that those colors are going to disappear when the camera is back, and they're going to sort of blend into each other.
Yeah. It's just it's interesting, that intersection between streetwear versus how that actually plays out on the court.
I mean, so I always try and reserve judgment on a jersey until I actually see it in action, because like, ultimately that is the point of these things, is to be
game jersey,
what you're looking at while the team is playing, and whether or not like it adds to the experience or ultimately takes away.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But at the end of the day, like, there's no reason for consternation about it. It's like, it's fine. I don't really see it being canonical.
Yeah,
I don't really see it like echoing through the eternity of Denver Nuggets.
Not changing anyone's
aesthetic,
life,
unless the Nuggets win again.
Unless they win in that,
they will win.
In which case,
hey, we'll take it.
Like last year's 5280s, like, sucked.
Yeah,
black. blue on black, couldn't see the mountains. Like those are going to just evaporate. Like we'll never think about those again.
But sometimes that's a good thing, but
it's a very good thing.
I got to hit a break here, but after the break, I want to get your thought on the other controversial City Connect jersey in the city of Denver, the Rockies City Connect jersey based off of the license plate, all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about that, get your take on that in just a moment. But before we do, got to give some love to our friends over at Empire Today, because if you are in the market to redo your floors, Empire Today is truly the place to go. They redid our floors here in the studio. They do an incredible job, especially given how much we absolutely tear up this floor in here. Yaya is just chucking chairs in between shows. Like, it's a good time. However, we need to have a good floor that can handle all of that.
Yeah, dude,
and Empire Today did a great job.
I feel like the production staff was under the impression they got paid by the scratch that they created on the floor previously. So we had to get like very hard-tempered, strong, resilient flooring that, by the way, Empire Today, to say Empire Today, it was like Empire yesterday. They showed up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
When they did it. It was like unbelievable. They knocked this thing out so quickly.
Their installers
and
are
now
great.
we're broke because we were paid by the scratch.
Yeah.
And this is unscratchable.
It is, right.
Yeah, Yaya has not been paid. If you see Yaya.
Well, Empire Today, they are truly one of the best in the business. My favorite feature that they offer too is their virtual floor designer. You can take a picture of any of your living.
It's literally very helpful.
It is, right? Well, as a designer, it's helpful because you can take a picture of your living space and you can actually see what it's going to look like when you want your floor in there.
They showed it to me, and I had it set up with a different floor, and I was like, I actually don't like that.
Yeah.
And then we switched it, and I was like, I actually like that.
Yeah, I know Marissa loves that feature as well.
Yeah.
When we, it's big for the wives when they're helping get everything set up for the house. So check out Empire Today if you're getting your floor redone. They really are the best place to go. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners of the show can receive a $350 off discount when you use promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DNVR for details. Also got to give some love to our friends over at Bet365, because at Bet365, they don't do ordinary, and this is an incredible time to be getting involved in the sports betting world. You've got college hoops, you've got NFL, NBA, hockey. I mean, there's just anything and everything. College football mixed in there, too. I'm a big college basketball bettor. I love betting on some college hoops. College hoops are back in action. What's your favorite sport right now that you like to drop some money on?
Basketball,
okay.
NBA,
I mean,
Denver
some
Nuggets.
people. I'm a baseball guy, but I love betting on college basketball.
Here's the thing that's wonderful about this new world that we live in of online betting is that you can actually, all of these hours you've poured into learning about these idiots that swing a bat or shoot a ball, like you can actually make money through your knowledge of all of this nonsense. Like if you understand, you're like, okay, Russell Westbrook is going to be playing against his old team tonight. Let's bet the over. It'll hit.
Yeah.
Or you just kind of like...
Just listen to these guys.
Yeah,
They'll tell you.
Listen to Dev. Listen to Dev.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dre, they do the betting show. Yeah, exactly. It's a good time. And what helps is that Bet365 offers some awesome deals to get you started. If you use promo code DNVR365 when you sign up, you can deposit $10 and choose between either a bet and get offer, placing a bet of $5 or more and getting $150 in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer by placing a bet of up to $1,000. And if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a match refund and bonus bets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, back here on the Denver Sports Pod. I got to get your take on the other Denver City Connect jersey.
I'm incredibly opinionated. So
you are an incredibly opinionated
issue.
person. I figured I wouldn't have any problem with that. So we talked a little bit about the Nuggets City Connect jerseys.
Sure.
The only other team that does the City Connect jerseys is the Colorado Rockies.
Yep.
These are the jerseys you see on your screen. This is the first City Connect jerseys that they have. They are going to be bringing a new City Connect jersey to the front next year. Might be the most exciting thing to happen next year for the Rockies, besides the Savannah Bananas coming into town. So I want to get your thoughts on that, because people are all over the place with this.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I hate these. I do not like these at all. First
You
off,
and I are in the same boat there.
green pants are for softball.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
This is like when they debuted this, I lost my ever-loving mind. I was like, okay, first off, if you went through the way that they explained what these jerseys are all about, The patch on the hat, they described it as a sticker that you would buy in a tourist shop in Colorado. I'm like,
I could see it on the back of a car.
Yeah. I'm like, cool. We're not tourists. We live here.
Yeah.
We're not buying that. That's what tourists
Although
buy.
a lot of tourists go to Coors Field in the summer.
Yeah, but so why are we making City Connect jerseys for the people of Colorado that are designed for tourists?
This is a perfect example to me of a jersey that looks better on someone walking around outside of the stadium
I agree.
than on the team. I agree with you. And I think a lot of people like it because of that. I will die on the hill that I'm not a fan of these jerseys for the exact same reason that you are. They're green, first of all. Why are we? I know they're based off the license plate, but why are the Rockies doing a green City Connect jersey? That's my thing.
Coors Field has
I like the mountains. That's about it.
Baked into it with the brick and there's like a green element to it. Green is like a distant, like at least you can understand where it fits into the Rockies sort of like overall aesthetic. But yes, they're obviously making it about the license plate again. It's
which I also hate because it's not that good of a license plate. Like I'm not a Colorado license plate fan. There are other.
You're not
the
a
New
license
Mexico
plate truther.
The New Mexico license plate. I think
with the
is better.
Zia.
Yeah. Well, it is one of my dog's names. So
yeah. So
that
you
helps.
got
I'm
to. My family hails from New Mexico. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, now I do.
But not the actual New Mexico, from Los Alamos, the part that they plunked in the middle of New Mexico.
It's an important part of New Mexico,
and then
though,
developed the atomic bomb.
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Yeah, but like my people, like my grandmother lived in Los Alamos like for most of her adult life and never once tried Mexican food because she, quote, knew she wouldn't like it. Yep. So my family is from New Mexico in the sense that they dropped a town into New Mexico and we lived there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just plopped there. Kind of like they dropped that logo in the Rockies hat.
Yes, but so I mean I agree. Like it's just the other thing is like it's set up, for road tripping through Colorado, and again that's like for tourists. Like this is always my frustration, and I feel like I specifically can speak to this more than other people. Like I actually have now done this many times. I've gone to other cities and it has been my charge to create branding and logos for that city and their fan base to represent various podcasts and beats around the country. And so I go and I make sure, like I spend time there, I talk to people, I get the vibe before I create anything. And all of these things to me are just created at Nike, and it's the designers that are really talented, but they don't in their heart love sports and they don't get sports. And so they have these ideas that are be like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool? But they don't really realize the forces that they're diving into when you're not making like generalized sportswear, but you're making specific emblematic sportswear for a fan base to put on their own chest and say like, this is us. Yeah. And they take the responsibility so lightly, and it makes me insane.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It is a huge responsibility. There are some other really bad baseball, City Connect jerseys. Boston has a really bad one. They're all yellow.
Well,
that one was terrible.
See, a lot of this stuff is like, I mean, you can understand when they explain what the various pieces of inspiration were. Why do you remember this one? It's like it has to do with I don't know. Like I can't even remember why it's blue and yellow. It harkens back to something that happened a long time ago, which is like a niche sort of like reference. But at the end of the day, it doesn't spark like joy and pride in the people of Boston. Like no one is prideful to wear. Well, like this looks like the Savannah Bananas.
It does. It totally does. And it just doesn't speak Boston to me. That feels more like the Royals or the Pirates or something like that. I will say one of my personal favorites, and you might dunk on me for this because of how simple it is.
I'm ready right now.
The Chicago White Sox. White Sox. They're all black with white pinstripes. Yeah. Are one of the sickest jerseys I've ever seen. I love the Chicago South Side. Like that is such a cool vibe to me. All black. I mean, black pants, white pinstripes is incredible in my eyes.
And what that does, like, the longer that I've been in the world of design, I'm just going to make this about myself, right? I'm just going to tell you about my life. So what I've realized, and it took me a really long time to get there as a designer, when you start off as a designer, what you're trying to do is just decorate things, make them look pretty, make them look aesthetically pleasing.
You're getting your reps in.
You're getting your reps in, but you don't really understand the concept between decoration and communication. And the longer that you're in this world, you sort of understand inherently what things are telling you without saying it. They're just visually communicating to you. And so fonts, in a sense, are a voice. Like every font is basically somebody talking to you in a different voice, right?
Gotcha.
So the south side of Chicago is like notoriously tough. It's notoriously, it's got an edge to it, and they're not, they're not the North Siders, they're not soft, whatever. So like the fact that they have this like black letter, hard pointed south side.
Yeah, kind of graffiti-ish type of font, but not all the way.
I would say
like calligraphy?
calligraphic.
Yeah, there you go.
It's calligraphy, but there is a seriousness to it, and there's a sharpness to it. Obviously, it's all points. So it's like a standoffish, like don't fucking come here.
Yeah.
Like, this is the south side.
And
so I like that. There's a defiance to it, and there's a strength to it that it just says like, we are this, and then there's other.
And then the Chicago White Sox lose 130 games, and then you suck. But the jerseys are cool.
Yeah, but there's still pride in rocking the idea of the south side. It's like, even though we suck, like we don't suck, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like I like that. So there is a story behind it. Anytime you have like a story behind something that is communicating not only something about the team, but what the team represents, and not only what the team represents, but how the people themselves, the fans, can think about themselves in the context of this jersey.
Yeah.
You can get very deep with a lot of this stuff, and again, more often than not, like sports people are just like, whatever, blue, red, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it matters. Like that. The Chicago White Sox, you can put that on and still feel proud, even though the team is currently a joke, because there's something strong about it.
It's design that transcends wins and losses. We've talked about design that enhances wins and losses. That's a design that transcends wins and losses. So that's an interesting point. Speaking of designs, though, I want to talk after this next break about the NBA Cup.
Hell yeah, dude! My favo conversation.
Talk about some
NBA
designs.
Cup season, baby.
It's Cup season here,
dude. I caught a bad case of the Emirates NBA Cup.
Oh my gosh, we're pumped for that. That's going to be a good one. So stay tuned for that. Got to give a shout out though to some events that are coming up here. And actually, I'm not even going to talk about some events. I'm going to talk about one event because it happened just a couple days ago, and we're going to re-up it on December 2nd. The Broncos tailgate is becoming one of the most premier events that take place around Broncos games in the entire state of Colorado, in the entire NFL. It's on another level.
Yeah, screw you, Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, it's on another level, man.
Well, I'll tell you, like, there's nothing like more. Like, I feel pride in a lot of I like a lot of people in this company never take even 2 seconds to sit or look around to see where we've gone
soak
and
in the
where
moment.
it's come. That tailgate used to be like me and Lindsay, and maybe Yaya would show up, and like we'd have like a tent, and we had like a bottle of alcohol that we all passed around, and we just like did
just sharing.
It was like very, it's from very humble beginnings, and now it's like a legit thing. There's like 10 tents and like all these sponsors.
150 people.
150 people.
Live DJs.
Yeah, man, it's like a legit thing. It's fun,
the entire
man.
city of Atlanta is just like there for some reason.
Yeah, because they didn't realize it, but they were doing group therapy early.
Yes, they were. they were going through a little therapy session there. Yeah, it looked like a blast. I had to go call a basketball game. That's why I wasn't able to be there. But I was feeling a lot of FOMO.
Were you?
I was missing out, man. I definitely.
I was feeling FOMO, but I was too hungover to get out of bed and go.
There you go.
Because we drank on Friday heavily.
Well, don't make the mistakes that we made. December 2nd, 3 to 6 p.m. before the Broncos game, another tailgate happening. You can find out more information about that at thednvr.com/events. Also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota, because Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR, and I always say it's the official vehial of the DNVR
Great design.
team. Great design. Yes, exactly. We're talking about design.
Very clean.
Very clean. It does, exactly. I know they're like, especially cars, but like there's all these different design, features that really good companies hide in their their branding, Toyota with the T kind of mixed into the logo. You know, FedEx has the arrow in there. So we could go down that rabbit hole plenty of other times. But Toyota is more than just great designs. They are an incredible car. So many different options, especially as it's getting cold out there on the streets. You want to make sure you have a car that can handle all of that cold weather, the ice, the snow.
They've got doors and heaters.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in the car. It'll warm you right up.
It'll warm you right up because it's freezing in here right now. I'm going to go out to my Toyota and warm up after this is done. Toyota is truly incredible. They have so many different options. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson's Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. All right, back here on the Denver Sports Pod.
Finally.
And we're talking about the NBA Cup.
Whoa.
The NBA Cup.
Could be the Denver Cup.
Could be the Denver Cup.
Jokic is playing tonight, so probably not.
Than God he's playing tonight,
No,
too.
he's not.
Oh, he's not playing. I thought you said he was playing tonight.
No, dude. Our hell has not ended.
Our hell has not ended. Okay, so I'll hold out on that reaction until next time. But look, the cup has been interesting. It has... I think has progressed the NBA and making it a little more watchable during this part of the season. However, they've, in my opinion, taken something that has become a more exciting version of this kind of dead period of the season and said, here, let's take the most ugly courts in the world, throw that on your TV screen, and say, here you go. Enjoy some NBA basketball. So you already can tell my feelings about this. What's your take on the designs of these courts and how that plays out to the fan enjoyment of this? All
right. So, of two minds here.
Okay.
Number one mind. My God, that's so ugly. What a terrible thing to put on TV. It honestly, sometimes you can't see the ball.
The Nuggets one's okay. That's palatable.
Well, the Nuggets one is okay because it's the one that's most closely colored like wood.
Yes.
But my second mind is, it's okay to have candy sometimes. Like, again, like if you're telling me that this is what the league, like this is what like the XNBA, the XBA would be, like if a new radical league came in and they wanted to
spice
zhuzh it up.
This is the ABA in the 2020s.
But the ABA would never be so garish and bold. Like they're so ridiculous that I kind of am like, I actually appreciate it. Like,
really?
It's just so they're so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
It's like, I mean, it's truly like eating a big thing of cotton candy, and you're like, man, I should not have done that. But like during the time, you're like, that's kind of fun.
I don't know. I mean,
they suck. Don't get me wrong. They look horrible.
Yeah, they look horrible.
They are oppressive. They ruin the game, and yet somehow I'm still like okay with it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can see your points. I like the uniqueness of like Boise State with the blue turf.
But see, that's tough because like that's their all day, every day.
But I like that because it's just them. It speaks to Boise State. Eastern Washington, same thing in, Reese Field or Roos Field.
But I feel like it would be different if you just if you were an actual Boise fan. I mean, you end up feeling pride in it, but at a certain point, you're like, man, can we just see grass? There's something wrong with grass and wood.
So my sister went to Boise State, and so I got to go out on the field, during her little introduction, whatever that's called, and I was on the field, and by the time I walked off, my leg is just covered in blue turf. That was kind of annoying. Yeah. Like it was just like, I mean, the static between the field turf.
Turf comes up a lot, actually.
Yeah, with soccer and stuff. Yeah, like it's just my entire leg was blue.
Isn't that just the rubber? Really, the turf comes up?
The turf, yeah.
The actual grass
the grass.
It's just plastic that's like basically glued onto this like pallet, and it just can come off on any time.
So that's an annoying part about that field, but that's football. Basketball, obviously you don't have to deal with that, but the court, and again, I look at this from a different lens. I look at this from the lens of a broadcaster, somes who's trying to call the damn basketball game.
I can't
like, what are we looking at? Yeah.
No, it's
so
again, don't
awful.
get me wrong. It's ridiculous. They
so
are
awful.
An abomination before God himself and everyone who watches the NBA, and yet I'm okay with it. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I think
you know what it is? It's that you respect that they had the cojones to go all the way in with
I
this.
guess maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Again, like I don't like them,
But I
like
I
them.
would say the same thing about the Padres thing. Like the Padres went all out with their crazy City Connect jersey, and I hate it. Like congrats to them to have the balls to do that. It still sucks.
It totally sucks, but again, it's like this limited time stuff. I think it's okay to have fun.
Yeah,
the stuff that is like foundational, like the Broncos jerseys, like that stuff makes me angry.
Yeah,
because that is the team. This is just like the team having fun, and let the kids have fun. Whatever. It's the Emirates NBA Cup, all of which is a farce, all of which is ridiculous. The Lakers won the inaugural cup last year, which is hilarious because they immediately fell off. It's gonna happen again this year. Everybody that did well in this cup last year, like really went for it, all had a precipitous fall off right afterwards.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, the Nuggets are in the conversation right now a lot because of where they are without their star player. And
you know what cried back? Yeah, I know. You know what's terrible about me? A lot of things. You know what one terrible thing about me is like how like old and angry I'm getting, and like what am I supposed to do?
I'm crotchety old man,
dude. I'm old. What am I supposed to do? Everybody goes through it, but I'm like in a position where I have to be like fun and like hang out with kids.
Also,
but you guys all drive me fucking insane.
But also, like art is so subjective. Like everyone is opinionated about art.
Well,
and you have a right to be because that's your life.
Here's the thing.
That's who you are.
Here's the thing, and this is what it is. Whenever I get into a conversation about new jerseys, coming out, are they good? Are they bad? There is most assuredly beauty in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
I always say this, like if you like them, you're correct. Like you're right. Like of course you like them. They do something for you. I always look at something through the lens of like, will this be widely accepted? Does this make sense for everyone? Does this make sense for the team itself? Does this make sense for what it is they're trying to accomplish? And so it's like when I talk to people about like, design choices or whatever, and they'll be like, I don't like it. Oftentimes I'll just be like, I don't care because I know other people will. It's not just for you, but you can like or not like it. You're correct in those feelings. It's just, there is something bigger about understanding the larger landscape that you can only get through experience and expertise.
That's why I love this kind of topic because everyone, like I said, if I went on my DNVR Rockies podcast after this show and ask all of the Rockies fans that are still with me, all of them, all of them, they're hanging on, man. Props to them.
By the way, I'm not included in that.
I know, I know. Props to them. It's a long off season, but a lot of Rockies fans will say, we love the City Connect jerseys. It's really well liked within the Rockies population. And then there's people like us that are like, what? I don't see it. I just don't get that appeal. Speaking of that, I was going to ask you when we were talking about this before, but I want to ask you now. If you were to make the Rockies City Connect jerseys, that are coming out next year, what would you emphasize? What in your eyes? And I know there's so much more depth that goes into this, so I don't want to like put you on the spot too quickly.
No, what I would do. This is not all this stuff is easy for me. It's like, I would give them a look that harkened back to a time before they existed to connect the Rockies to the rich history of the MLB.
Okay.
I would use a script font or I would do something that looked like it was made in the 1900s, an old like flannel or not flannel. What is that? Like a woolen.
Like a fleet. Like thick kind of.
I would give them a look that, like a faux back. In a sense that connects the Rockies, who still, even though they've been around for 25 years now, 26 years now, they're still in most people's eyes like a new jack team. Like they still might as well be an expansion team to most baseball purists, like the blue bloods on the East Coast that don't even recognize them as an actual franchise. Like I would do something that felt like it was in keeping with the advent of Major League Baseball that connects the Rockies to it.
No, I like that.
The Rockies they don't like, there's just so many people that just like don't get it. And the Rockies sort of get it. Like what I do like about the Rockies is that they came out with a jersey that they never have to change because they did use really classic elements, even if I don't like them particularly. Like they use that serif font, which to me is like, it's like Times New Roman. It's the wrong font to begin with, but it is a by definition, classic font that will never go out of style because there's no, like new sort of styling to it. It just is like comes from when you had to make type with a chisel. That's what those serifs are. So I like that because it is timeless. They never have to change it. But I would go a little further back.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And I think the Rockies, it shows the Rockies do a lot of things good around the play on the field. Play on the field aside, they create a good experience. People like going to Coors Field and
I've never even
like
thought
wearing
about
the
that.
jerseys.
You see how quickly I came up with that? That's exactly what I would do. What's wrong with you, Rockies?
I know, get it together.
Call me.
Again,
call me,
biggest news of the offseason is going to be that City Connect jersey when that's announced. Got to take another break, but after the break, I want to get your take on your favorite T-shirt designs that you've ever
I'm going
done.
to show you some old school D-line designs.
Some old school D-line designs coming up next here on the Denver Sports Pod. All right, back here live with D-line. I know.
I thought that break would never end.
Part of that, so that's okay.
I didn't think that break would ever end.
Yeah, it was a long one. It's a long one. I drugged that one out.
Dude, I wish I'd been drugged.
Yeah. Oh, don't we all? Don't we all? Let's talk about some of the times that you probably were drugged when you were trying to figure out what the hell the branding was going to be for this. When you were making something, there's no better way to design things than getting a little creative there. So, favorite T-shirt designs. Walk me through your process. We'll go. Send us back through history.
I'm going to show you these older designs that I did before I knew any of you. Before DNVR
before I was born.
Even a twinkle in my eye. That shirt that you're seeing on the screen, I made in the year 2017. And it is for Nikola Jokic. It says "no joke." If you can, this is before I was like. This is like when I realized how important Nikola Jokic was going to be in my life. 2017, 2016. This is back in the age when I didn't have enough visibility on stuff where I was doing, where I could just draw a guy's face and it wouldn't matter. If I tried to put this out today, we would be sued to the point of having to close the doors on this company. But I like this, and I had never seen anybody use this phrase before. No joke. This was my original idea because when he came into the league, he was obviously very, very floppy. He was like a little baby Great Dane. His arms were too long. He was fat. He was skinny. He got kind of pushed around a little bit. But that scream, that Jokic scream, of him making a shot,
yeah,
that no joke. My man is no joke. I was really into this one when I first made it.
He is no joke.
My man is no joke. Do you have the one with the Von Miller one? So here's the story of how D-Line actually became a thing. D-Line, now my nickname, never intended to be my nickname, was just the name of my company. And this was a D-Line original. So I had made successful shirts for the Nuggets. And I was going to now take that success and apply it to the Broncos. These were going to be shirts that I made with my partner Blaze, and we sell outside the stadium. And so I made the shirt on the left. I drew obviously a picture of Von Miller, and using one color because it's the more colors you use on a T-shirt, the more expensive it is to print. And I had no money, and so I used one color on one T-shirt, blue on orange, and I was going to release this shirt with Von Miller that said "Crush" underneath. And so I drew it, and then the day that I was getting ready to send it, Von Miller got arrested for Molly. he got suspended from the league for we don't actually know the full story. From what I understand, he got in trouble for Molly usage. And so that day I changed the title to say from Crush to Vaughn is dope, because he is dope and he was on dope, and there were 4 or 5 different meanings to it. Yeah. And so we printed all of these up, and we sold a billion of these Vaughn is dopes, and they ended up on the Dan Patrick show. We sent some in and he put it on his wall. So this is a very seminal moment for the D-Line brand, and somehow for my name in life.
Can I say?
Please.
That's a really clean design.
That actually is clean. I appreciate
clean design. I like it. That's a good use of that word.
That's probably not that great of a use. What was the other one? What's the other one that I sent you? Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, this one's sick. I love
No
this.
Sean.
Yeah.
Dude, this is another could have been, should have been.
This one's so cool.
I was able to show this to No Sean recently. I went to this Super Bowl. I had this all lined up. This is the season that Noshan Moreno famously cried a gallon of water out of his eye. It was the most egregious thing I'd ever seen in my life. I need to ask him about it still. It feels like it's not possible.
He laughs every time we talk about it.
Dude, it's hilarious. It was the most
yeah.
wild. No one's ever seen such a thing. I actually showed him this. He was like, "Oh man." But I was gonna have the champions melting.
Yeah,
but
I
then
love the dripping.
Yeah,
Too.
but then
It's
they
so
got
good.
their faces kicked in, so I never got to use this. But I was big on I was a big Noshan fan.
How many?
Not anymore. Now that I know him.
How many designs have you done that never got to see the light of day because
Brother.
of a team losing or you know?
brother? I've got.
You're just sitting on a hard drive full of designs.
I've got so many. I've got so many hard luck stories. Like somebody didn't want to do it. The team ended up being not
going there.
not
Yeah,
interesting. Somebody got arrested.
Yeah.
Von Miller. I've got a lot. I mean, for every shirt that comes out, there's probably 3 or 4 that don't.
That is the shaded side of design and art in sports, and I even know it through Yaya. You know, having done a couple graphics for me that with awards coming up for the Rockies, and then someone doesn't win it, and it's like, well, that was a great graphic. We can't use it now because no one won. And there's part of me that wants to still promote it and be like, even though he didn't win, look at this awesome graphic. But that's just part of it. You know that sometimes your designs, no matter if it's the greatest thing you've ever created, will not ever see the light of day because of the world of sports.
Well, listen, man. We all have a collective consciousness. Shout Carl Jung, and it's important to take ideas that exist and are locked in your brain and actualize them, put them into the world.
Yeah.
Even if they don't make it out past your own consciousness level or just your own visibility, it's good to put ideas into the collective consciousness. So at the end of the day, it's not wasted time. It's a little wasted time, but it's still
it's a little.
But it's
bummer.
still like it's important to just make things, and it's important to even if you don't get to then put it up for online judgment to see how many internet points you earn from each one.
Yeah, I know. It is the tough part about this industry, though. And I will say there are still a lot of really cool shirt designs and shirts that are coming out, hoodies, all of the stuff that DNVR is doing right now. We're getting close to Black Friday, too. So Black Friday is going to have some freaking deals that we're going to be rolling out.
Not only deals, we do deals every year, but we have we've got some new stuff coming out that I've been working on. And I hired a guy to help me make shirts, so he's been working on a lot of this stuff too. So
I love that.
We have a big to do coming.
Okay, a Christmas wish list, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
Something like that.
Maybe Hanukkah.
Maybe Hanukkah.
Kwanzaa,
So
maybe-
A holiday wish list.
I went upstairs and got to see some of the designs that they're working on.
Oh,
They're dope. There's a Broncos one that I'm already just waiting for it to drop so I can put my order in.
you're going to
Hell
be
yeah.
walking around just previewing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is fun. And look, and it also helps. It helps you, helps the fans, helps all of us that these teams are playing really well right now. The Broncos
Bro.
are freaking crushing it. The Buffs, the Rams, the Nuggets, although they're struggling a little bit.
Calm down.
Pause, but
Dude,
everyone else. Football's great.
Football is back in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
The state of Colorado loves football, and football left us for,
It did.
I would say, a decade.
It did. I know.
We had no football joy, no football fun, no football anything, and yet we remained true. We remained pious. We never left our station. We waited for football to return to us, and now look at us.
In our
look
glory.
at us. We're drowning in spoils.
Basking in our glory. I think the CSU's playing really well. They're doing good.
Yeah,
they're playing.
They're fringe top 25 team.
Yep, playing really well. So don't want to take anything.
Unfortunately, another team around here sucks up every ounce of oxygen, so you would never know.
I was gonna say I don't want to take anything away from CSU. I know that the Buffs are just with Coach Prime. They're kind of ruling the college football conversation, understandably, and then the Broncos are holding down their own as well. It's such a fun time to be a part of this, and I think the reason why a lot of us, especially people on the outside who are kind of casual fans, not as deeply embedded in the football fandom, enjoy this is just because the expectations were just so unknown. We didn't know what we were going to get. Coach Prime and CU, it was like, are you going to be, especially after their first couple games, it's like, are you going to be a legit team this year? We don't really know. CSU was in the same boat. And then the Broncos, it's a rookie quarterback. Like, he looked a little off, the first few games of the year. What are we going to get? And somehow everyone has turned their team around to be a team that is not only just playing up to expectations, but playing beyond expectations, and you credit the coaches, you credit the players, but it's such a blast to be a part of. And so I would imagine that makes it even easier when you want to go out and put out all these awesome designs on shirts and hoodies and all that kind of stuff when the teams are playing incredible.
Well, I'll tell you a little secret about sports apparel. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it in your own life, you know this to be true. People only buy sports gear when the vibes are right.
Yeah, sure.
When they are feeling good about the team, they will buy something with the logo on it or something that represents the team that they themselves want to reflect happiness and success and something other than, you don't want to wear something that people are going to look at you and be like, ooh.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, dude. So all I do is I just look over the vast, kingdom of sports, and I just try to identify where the hot spots of vibes are.
Yeah.
And right now we've got a vibes like mega hot spot. You're right. All of the football, and your point is well taken. None of these teams looked like they were going to be good.
Yeah,
totally. And they're all that. It's like such a gift that they all have have all risen out of just no expectations to all be like super fun. It's like an
bonus. It's a bonus for us.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Based
you
on
kidding me with Bo?
Yeah, I know, a bonus. Based on vibes alone, though, I would imagine I'm not expecting any Chris Bryant designs coming out anytime soon for the Rockies.
I'm going to send him a bill.
I would imagine you aren't the only one in that.
I hate Chris Bryant. I want us to run this bum out of town. I want him to feel uncomfortable when he walks around Denver, Colorado. He has stolen money from us. He has mocked this franchise. He made terrible remarks about it, and he was terrible when he was on the other side when he was going up against Nolan Arenado. He's an absolute villain and needs to be treated as such.
A villain.
Throw garbage at Chris Bryant if you see him.
I will say my favorite design, and it's just, and I'm biased because obviously I'm a baseball guy, but I like it because of the simplicity of it. That it kind of tricks you for a second. Is your Colorado Rakes?
Yeah.
With the Rockies logo, but it has Rakes instead of Rockies. It makes you do a double take. And then once you realize what it's saying, it's so sick. It's such a cool one.
It's funny because baseball, and I've come to realize, you probably have thought about this, I assume, as somebody who actually does broadcasting, but have you done a baseball game before?
Yeah, I've done a bunch.
So just like watching baseball, there's so much time and so much conversation that when you take time away from baseball and you come back and you listen, the number of little colloquialisms that exist in baseball is so funny, and it's just because they just spend. It's like when Mitch and I hang out, we just gas each other up, giving dumb new nicknames for everybody on the Broncos.
You need an urban dictionary to catch.
But in baseball, they're like,
stuff.
"Oh, it looks like a crooked number." Or they're really raking out there.
Throw him a chair, kid.
Whatever. Just all of these insanely nonsense phrases that you just accept at face value when you watch baseball all the time.
True. Yeah, Rakes
is one that just is like what?
Colorado Rakes. Yeah. Where did that come from? I have no idea.
I mean, they're clearing the yard. I assume that's what that means. They're hitting the ball.
Yeah, ride the pine. Ride the
pine.
bench.
You can trace it back, but there's just so many stupid little well-worn sayings, especially in baseball. Right. Rakes being one of them. And you have to sort of know the vernacular of baseball to even understand what that means.
I remember one of the big sayings when I was pitching, in my brief time as a baseball player. The fans used to chant when I was pitching, not chant, but yell, throw him a chair, kid, throw him a chair, kid. And I remember one time I was out on the mound, and I had this moment in the middle of a game where I just was thinking to myself, what the hell does that even mean?
I know.
Throw him a chair, kid? First of all, I'm that's supposed to be a positive thing for me, strike him out. Throw him a chair, kid. I guess it means sit him down.
Yeah, sit him down.
But I'm the idea of throwing them a chair, what are we talking about? It doesn't make sense.
It's just because it's references upon references upon references of guys just sitting out and having to be like, hey, he really got a sticky wicket or whatever. You're like, what? None of that makes sense, but you just say it enough that everyone's like, oh yeah, it got a sticky
baseball.
wicket. It was fine.
Sure.
Yeah,
Throw
give him the cheese or whatever.
Cheese.
If you, I have been driven away from baseball, so that now every time I come back, it becomes all the more ridiculous to me in that way. But when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh man, let's get a crooked number. Give us a crooked number.
Maybe the Rockies, speaking of ridiculousness, maybe the Rockies will go even more ridiculous in their City Connect jerseys. I don't know when those are going to be announced, but sometime this offseason, I would imagine.
I bet they don't do what I suggest, and I bet that they base it off of the Colorado flag, just like everybody else.
Yeah, right. Or 5280. That would really get your blood boiling.
Dude, my gears are going to be grinding if there's a 5280 version of the Rockies.
I got to ask, okay, before we wrap up the show, what's your, and this is beyond City Connect jerseys, what is your favorite out of all the sports in Colorado, favorite jersey combination for any team? Just all around. Favorite jersey design.
Wow, what a tough question to answer. I guess I would say, I love the Mile High City Nuggets jerseys, the blue ones.
Yep, that's a good one.
Because they falls in line with all of the things that I've said that I wish other teams would do. It is royal blue. It is simple. It looks incredibly classic. There's no extra ornamentation to it. It will never not look good. It will always look like it does now, forevermore.
And it's unique. It's different.
I mean, it's unique-ish. It's unique for this area.
For this area, that's what I mean, yeah.
But I just love that they embraced the Mile High City. That is something that every team in Denver should embrace, as opposed to, 5280. But I also like, oh man, am I going to say the Buffs classic? Shut up, Yaya. Shut up, RK. You can't hear this, but shut up. Everyone shut up. I like that. I really love my beloved Rams green and gold classics.
The ag ones were good for the Rams.
I don't like the orange. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I like the
old
Miami.
And
Stuff.
I mean, I just basically like stuff that it has staying power.
Yeah.
I do not like the Avalanche logo. I hate the Avalanche logo.
Really?
I cannot stand it.
I love the
It's locked into a specific time period. It is the time in which computers got involved in design, and so the designers were just abusing their ability to make these like really clean, pointy shapes. It's that aesthetic is hot now, and so you'll like it now. But I promise you, it ages poorly. I saw it happen the first time. I'm going to watch it happen again.
Okay, all right.
So I don't like any of the Avs stuff. I do like I really, really like the Avs. I guess it's their third jersey with the Illuminati triangle.
Yeah,
to me, that's like a beautiful. Those are like beautiful jerseys. They're like, the color is right. Like everything is like, there's just a subtlety, and there's a lot of like thinking qualities that went into that jersey. But the Bronco throwback. I mean, every throwback. I just like the old stuff. I'm an old man.
Yeah, you are an old man. I don't know. Yeah. Were you with me on the show when we talked about the old World Series logos? Was that you? I think it might have been Kale then, but we went through all the World Series logos from over the years, seeing back the old technology and what they used on some of those old ones.
The old technology was
incredible. It was so funny.
Pen and ink. And then all of a sudden, when you were able to let the computer do most of the work for it, you're like, you know what? My gears are too ground. I can't get into this.
All right, it's a good time to wrap it up. Anyways, we're running late.
I'm about to get mad again about people who can't draw. That are designers.
Before D-Line goes and walks off set, we'll wrap things up here. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us in the Toyota chat. Thanks D-Line for stopping by. Yaya for our hanging out and pushing some good buttons, as Yaya always does. But yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We did the damn thing. We're going to wrap things up. We'll see you next time on the Denver Sports Pod.
Stay tuned.
We all silly like the mayor.